Is the intellect obliterated in the case of Turiya? No, being that does not mean being lunatic. The realized one no longer has an intellect, but is all things merged in his oneness or being, and do not stand separately as his possessions or attributes. Rappold asks about Advaita Bhava, as mentioned in the Uladu Narpadu. Advaita is always a thought, a bhava to the spiritual aspirant, and is an attribute of the heart, and is to be beheld within, but never to be observed with regard to the guru. Though Advaita Bhava is a thought for the spiritual aspirant, Jnani is Advaita, or pure being. Advaita is not to be expressed in life's activities, for it would upset those activities and make a jnani's life relations unnecessarily difficult. Distinctions are to be made indeed. The jnani is like the actor or professional mourner who plays grief more than the grieved, while maintaining Advaita in the heart and remains unaffected, totally secure in that. Is love merely an experience of the mind? Bhakti, devotion, and jnana, knowledge, are one in oneness. To the bhakta, that is love. To the jnani, that is the self and bliss. Rappold probes the Maharshi about Kaivalya, traditionally understood as absolute aloneness, signifying ultimate liberation, freed from all attachments to the material world. Kaivalya is oneness, but even this term implies duality of some sort. That cannot be adequately described by words. To speak of it as unity or salvation or integration implies duality, but that is beyond duality. So does Kaivalya mean the same as Advaita? Yes, in focus. Then all things arise from Prakriti? Only when the question is asked, these terms are for answers to questions in a discussion on existence. You are the screen, whether there are pictures on it or not. Existence is, and is your nature. Rappold asks about the difference between one's own individual nature and the vasanas that seem to arise. They are the same. Without vasanas, there is no individuality. When the vasanas are obliterated, there is nothing left but your real nature. And that is found by self-inquiry. And what is the most important thing to be gained spiritually from meditation? Why do you want to be spiritual and not just be yourself as you are? Well, Bhagavan has said until realization, there must be two indispensable sadhanas: hold to the self and reject extraneous thoughts. These are the same, abiding as the pure self. Is this subtle mind? It is the collection of impressions from which the gross mind arises as a reflection. But there is no distinction. It is all mind and thus not really a reflection. So is the subtle mind feeling and the gross mind thought? In a sense, yes, but they co-arise and function as mind and cannot exist separately. The cinema must have darkness and light projected in illusory forms for there to be cinema. Bhagavan has said that the mind has two aspects, veiling and projection, or light and darkness. Is darkness veiling and projection thought? Yes, it is mind. It is not reality. Well, how then do we realize that supreme reality? Why do you call it supreme? It is your nature. There is really no realization. There is only being. That alone always persists by itself when mind ceases, just as in deep sleep or in samadhi. It remains as Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. That is the real I, and that is the real bliss. Is that real I what Bhagavan calls I? Yes, abide only as yourself. Don't be afraid of that state. You will not cease to exist, for it is itself existence. Rappold reports on Maharshi answering questions from a French doctor named Godel. I is being, existence, ever present, without limits. Ego is the I thought, limited, imperfect. Do not regard the I thought as I. There will always be I, which never dies. Giving up the I thought and ever being I, that is, giving up the unreal for the real, what is ever there? The I thought persists because of habit. With the arising of the I thought, all else arises. The I thought is ignorance, avidya, and does not really exist. The I thought is the light that lights up all the world, is darkness and is substratum of both. For there really is no transcendence, there is only existence. The questioner is born in the West, and so asks how Advaita can help one to love one's neighbor. There is no neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. So self is bliss. Love God. One loves because one loves oneself. Well, what is the effort to realize the self? The effort to realize the self is the giving up of all other effort. Bhagavan, what is consciousness? The Maharshi answers in English. Awareness of what exists, of what is. Well, then, what is conscience? Once again, Bhagavan answers in English. It is mind, but pure mind, sattva. It is the purest state of mind bathed in purity, but still mind, an operation of mind. Without individuality, the I thought, there is no mind. Conscience is the inner voice, the voice of Atman, an inner urge or idea, persisting when the ego is annihilated. Events in Tiruvannamalai. Thelma writes, the 10-day Karthigai Deepam festival at the big temple starts with the flag hosting ceremony on 4th December 1948. The big chariot procession is scheduled for the 10th December. In preparation for the big event, extensive restoration of the temples were carried out, including to its decorative pillars and sculptures, wheels and hydraulic brakes. Engineers from Bell Company and the Public Works Department inspected and certified the stability of the restored chariot, work being done for the first time in 50 years. The Maharathiram got a test run along the Mahadavita, where nearly 2,000 police personnel cleared roadside encroachments and supervised as residents and students enthusiastically pulled the chariot ropes. Adding to the joy of that auspicious Friday, it was observed that the day was also Muhurtam Day, with weddings in progress. But all this still belongs to the relative plane, but is the purest form of relativity. Whatever is going on there, the light remains unaffected.